of the acetabulum, this part, right here. We're going to have a superior ramus coming forward immediately, okay, forward immediately, and then from there, angling downward and laterally, okay, you have the inferior ramus, okay? So the pubises meet, the two pubises meet, but where they meet at, it's formed of the superior ramus and the inferior ramus, okay? And then they meet together, right, for the symphysis pubis, okay? So it's the joint between the two pubic parts of the innominate bone. Each side is made up of the superior and inferior ramus, okay, of the pubis. What forms by the inferior ramus of both of the innominate bones together is this arch, okay? It's called the pubic arch, right, underneath here, okay? It determines whether it's a male or a female, okay? If that arch is very narrow, okay, it's going to be a male. If it's very broad, it's going to be a female. And those are the joints between the innominate bone, okay, and the sacrum, okay. They don't go straight down. They sit on an angle. Now, did Marcy do SI joints with you last week? Okay, yeah, she'll do that with hip, I guess. Okay, so the SI joint sits at an angle of 25 degrees. So to be able to see down through it, it's kind of like the garashi in a shoulder. To be able to see down the shoulder joint, you have to turn the patient, correct? The only difference is to be able to see down in here, you have to turn the patient this way so you can shoot right down through it, okay? So you're actually shooting to the side up, not the side down, okay? And it's only 25 degrees. 25 degrees is not all that much, okay? So don't be rolling your patient 45 degrees, okay? So you're gonna turn them up 25 degrees, okay, and shoot to the side up. Now where is it? When you turn it up, here's the ASIS, here's the SI joint. When you turn the patient up 25 degrees, where's the ASIS in relationship to the SI joint? Just a little medial to it. Okay, so you're just going to go in an inch medial to the ASIS at the level of the ASIS, because the ASIS is at what vertebral level? S2, thank you. Okay, and that's right where the SI joint is. So just turn the patient up, center right medial, about an inch medial to the ASIS. It should be right there. Don't turn the patient too much. Comes out the bottom. Okay, it's made up of the tip of the coccyx, which here he is. Okay, the tip of the coccyx. Okay, the ischial tuberosities. So it sits like this. Okay, and the lower margin of the symphysis. So it's pretty much everything right in here. Okay, and that's where stuff's gonna come out. All right, makes sense because that's where the urethral opening, the vaginal opening, and the rectum, the anus are. Okay, all in the area from here to here. Okay. Okay. Pelvic cavity is the space between the pelvic inlet and the pelvic outlet. So, inlet, outlet. Okay, in there is the pelvic cavity. Okay, and more defined to the true pelvis than the false or the greater pelvis. Okay. Go anterior lateral to posterior medial. Okay, so they go anterior lateral. Okay, that's what this means. Starts anterior lateral and goes posteriorly medially. That's all that's saying. Okay. Symphysis pubis is between the rami of the pubis, parts of the both innominates, cartilaginous with an ambiarthrodial movement to it. And I don't have the movement there, but it's also ambiarthrodial. And then the hip joint is between the acetabulum and the head of the femur, and that's a diarthrodial joint, which is a synovial type joint. Don't forget, it also has bursa around it, just like the knee does.
Like a ligament or tendons and ligaments going.
It's a sac of synovial fluid, and it lessens the friction between a tendon and the bone, okay, because tendons will attach to the bone, and where it attaches, that reduces the friction. The movement, hip joint is movable in all directions. You can flex it, you can extend it, you can abduct it, adduct it, you can circumduct it, okay, which means it goes around a conical point, and you can rotate it laterally and you can rotate it medially. So all motions are done at the hip. L4, L5 they say, but we'll say L4, okay? Because the navel's actually at L4, but L4, L5. ASIS is at S2, okay? The greater trochanter, okay, which is out here, is 1.5 inches above the superior symphysis, okay? So the superior symphysis there, greater trochanter's here, and it's slightly above the symphysis. The ischial tuberosities down here are below the symphysis pubis. Okay, so ischial tuberosities, which are on the back side of the superior ramus of the ischium, are 1.5 inches below the symphysis. Does that make sense? For your statement? It's the bigger one. It's the larger one, okay, which is considered the false pelvis, where the actual true pelvis is down in here, and it just contains the bladder and the rectum down in there, okay? But if we do all of this, that's the greater or the false, because it's bigger in size.
And both of those are considered the inlet?
Well, the brim is the inlet, and that's the boundaries of the top, okay?
So if I'm just trying to like classify in my head, the greater / false and the lesser / true are kind of like subcategories of the pelvic brim or parts?
Probably the pelvic brim, because it goes from here to there, okay, is more defining the lesser pelvis with just the bladder and the rectum in it, where when we talk about the pelvis, we talk about all of the bony pelvis, so that's the false or the greater one.
Or maybe it's more like an area than it is like a circle.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it now.
Okay? Pelvises. Males' pelvises are very narrow, okay? Very narrow, less flared, where on a female, the wings, okay, or the ala will flare out a little bit further, okay, making it broader, okay, or wider. This is deeper because it's narrow, it's deeper, okay, where it wings out, it's more shallow, all right? Arch is greater than 90, okay, and, I'm sorry, less than 90, and a female is greater than 90, okay? So this would be a female, okay, because this angle is greater than 90, and for a male, it would be this, which kind of looks less than, okay, so that's 90 degrees, okay? 90 degrees, okay? So that's the difference between them. The inlet is oval on a male, it's round on a female, and that's to be able to carry a child, okay, or the head of the child as it gets ready to
IIS.
Yeah, IIS. Okay. This is the, oops, we drew it a little big.
SI joint.